together.
I heard a good one the other day. I was at a supplier, and we ordered these duck saddles. And he goes, Matt, you've been ordering these things for me from years. You are the only guy in South Florida. Nobody else ordered these. What are these? So I showed him some pictures. I go, look. And he goes, dude, that's really nice. And I go, what does that tell you about my competition? If
Yeah.
I'm the only guy that's ordering them in this town, it's pretty scary.
Today on Service Professionals of Florida, I'm here with Matt from Miranda Air Conditioning and Plumbing. So, Matt, tell me, this is the middle of summer right now. It's got to be crazy for air conditioning. What are you guys seeing right now as we're approaching the end of summer?
So it's hot. Units are breaking. Some of them are breaking not because of the heat, but because of lack of maintenance, whether it be a dirty filter or a drain line that's clogging up. And, in the last 3 years, people may have skipped that yearly tune-up. So we're seeing a lot of that.
When I first became responsible for my own air conditioning unit, I had the misconception that it's just like, it's out there. It's going to work for however long as it works, and then we'll replace it and get a new one. But there's more to air conditioning systems than that. Tell me more about it.
Well, you don't just plug them in like a refrigerator and they're good for 10, 12 years and cross your fingers and, hey, we're good. They need to be maintained, almost like a car. Get your oil changed, get your tires rotated. It's the same thing. You need your yearly tune-ups to make sure that everything is operating properly. Also, the newer units also are more efficient. They want to run less power. So to run less power, there's more electronics. There's more things in it that could go wrong compared to your unit maybe 10 or 15 years ago. So they definitely need to be looked at on a basis. And that's where we would come in with a club membership or a program to where that rest assured, if something breaks, you pick up the phone call, we come out, there's no charge, you and your family are good to go.
The complexity of HVAC systems and the fact that they have to handle the elements outside, they have all these other things as well inside, it requires a lot of attention to detail to make all these systems work together. Tell me more, how do you guys handle that together?
I heard a good one the other day. I was at a supplier, and we ordered these duck saddles. And he goes, Matt, you've been ordering these things for me from years. You are the only guy in South Florida. Nobody else ordered these. What are these? So I showed him some pictures. I go, look. And he goes, dude, that's really nice. And I go, what does that tell you about my competition? If I'm the only guy that's ordering them in this town, it's pretty scary.
That's to support like the
ducks.
Okay.
Yeah, instead of just putting a black strap on them and they can kind of like go like this, go these saddles, and then you strap the saddles up, and dude, it looks so nice. And they're only like $1 a piece. I mean, they add up. You might put 60 in a house, but it's just like one of those things where I'm like, dude, that's pretty scary. Nobody else is ordering these.
You mentioned a club, and how does that work to make sure customers are taken care of?
Well, it works for two reasons. One, if it breaks, they know who to call. But it also protects their investment. These systems are not getting any cheaper, and we need to protect their investment any way that we can. We also have a thing, part of our club membership, where it's an app. If something were to break, you can schedule on there. It'll tell you the life of your air filter. It's kind of almost like a check engine light on a car. It'll monitor the system. So works for a lot of people that maybe aren't here full time. They're up north, or they're here, or they're traveling. They can log onto their app and see that the unit's running properly, or hey, the air filter only has 20% left. I need to get that changed. So we have ways to work with every customer in every situation.
And you guys also do plumbing. You do a lot of plumbing.
We do.
So tell me about that, especially now as maybe hopefully things cool down a little bit. May not be a million air conditioners needing fixed. They've already been repaired. Or replaced. What does the plumbing world look like for you guys?
Plumbing, every day it's different. That's what's fun about plumbing. It doesn't matter if it's July or if it's January. Plumbing's plumbing. But we do a lot of change outs of water heaters, hose bibs, toilets, fixtures. We're not that new construction. We don't really do a whole lot of demos and things like that and remodels, but we're your local service plumber.
If an air conditioning isn't quite keeping up, it's continuing to maybe get warmer, it's not getting down to where it used to be, what is that process of kind of getting you involved?
Well, I like to tell everybody, don't wait. Everybody thinks that, all right, maybe it's not cooling. I have it set for 75, it's 78. It's Monday or Tuesday. I'll wait. And then they wait till Friday or Saturday, and then it's nighttime, and then your kids or your wife or whoever, everybody's disturbed because of this. Don't wait. If you think there's something going on with the system, make a phone call, let's schedule an appointment. And most importantly, if it's not keeping up at all, shut the unit off. We don't want to do more damage to the unit by trying to run it. Nobody wants a repair. Nobody wants to call the repairman. I have customers all the time when we leave their house, Matt, hey, or even my technicians, hey, we love you guys, but I don't want to see you again for a while. And it's kind of a funny thing that you go back and forth with. But I always tell people, if you think there's a problem, call, turn it off. It'll actually save you more money than trying to let it run and you'll wait 2 or 3 days and you actually do more damage to the unit. And the same thing goes for water heaters in your garage. If you see that there might be corrosion on the pipe or there might be some water in the pan, it's just a little bit, I'll worry about it later. You don't want to do that because you could come home to a waterfall coming down your driveway or the tank exploding. Could be in your house, could be in a condo, could be in a closet. If you see that, you need to call and get a professional out there.
Those sound like just ticking time bombs, and you really got to address it now, not later.
Correct.
So back in the day, the refrigerant that actually kind of goes from the outside unit to the inside unit and creates that cold environment that blows into your house was Freon. But we've come to find out it's not great for the environment, so that has now become illegal in the United States. And the thing that is used now for refrigerant is about to become illegal, and it's going to change again. Tell me about that.
So it's not so much illegal, they're going to be phasing it out. So we went from years ago when I first started, everything was R22 refrigerant, and then we phased into 410A. And I remember, the old timers that taught me the trade, we thought the world was going to end. Oh my gosh, the pressure's this, the temperature, everything's completely different. Nobody likes change. And then we figured out it's not so bad. So then we went from R22, now we're at 410. Now they're going to be changing the refrigerant again, and they're going to be phasing it out. It'll still be available, but the new equipment that's going to be out in 2025 will all be the new refrigerant, which will be a 454B or an R30, R32. We don't know what that's going to look like for pricing. We don't know if the price is going to stay the same. There's going to be more technology built into these units for the refrigerant. If you have a leak in your unit, you can call a repairman. He may be able to put some refrigerant in it. You may be able to get a couple months, and you got some time to figure things out. With the new equipment that's going to be coming out, it's going to have sensors in it to where when it detects refrigerant loss, it's going to shut the unit off. You're not going to have any refrigerant, or you're not going to have any cooling, and you're going to have to call the repairman. So as we get into next year, technology's changing, equipment's changing, and I'm sure that's going to come at a cost.
And that is to help protect the environment? What is the reason for all that?
Yes, this is mandated by the EPA, and it's for the environment. Yes.
To maintain my own unit, what are some things that I should be doing?
Regularly maintenance, tune-ups, whether that's once a year, every 6 months, whoever your provider is, whatever plan they offer.
Is there anything else that as a homeowner, maybe I should be at least looking at in between those yearly visits?
Well, it's the F word, filters. Filters. And filters is a tough thing because it's almost like hot dogs and hot dog buns. They're not the same quantity. And the same thing with filters. You'll buy a filter and the opening may be 24 by 24, and you get the filter and it says 24 by 24, but in parentheses it says exact size 23.5 by 23.5, and you put it in and you think everything's good and it might make a whistle noise, but what you don't understand is you're letting that dirt go past the filter and going into the coil, going into the blower, going into the ductwork, and creating a problem down the road. So filters are a very big thing. On all our new installations, we provide a 5-inch air cleaner. And with this, we guarantee you'll never have to clean the coil for the life of the system. As long as that filter's changed out once a year when we do our regularly tune-up, guaranteed, I put it in writing, you'll never have to clean that coil.
What about the clogs in the drain and the condensation? What is that?
So there's a few different reasons why that happens. Obviously, lack of maintenance. That's the first thing everybody points to. But a dirty filter will make a dirty coil or a dirty drain pan, and you will have clogs and backs up just from not changing your filter.
So near the unit outside, there is a pipe with some water coming out. What is that? What does that do?
That's your condensate drain. So a lot of people, they think that if they just pour maybe bleach or vinegar from inside the unit in the T, and that'll clean the drain line. It might. But your problem may exist in the unit. It may be the actual drain pan needs cleaned out. That's why yearly maintenance is very, very crucial to these units.
When one of your techs gets to a job and they start this process, maybe they start to identify some issues or problems, what is that communication like, and what does that process look like?
Options. Options is going to be our biggest thing. And it's not so much to try to sell a new piece of equipment. It's basically to let the homeowner know where they're at. here's your options, whether it be 2 options, 3 options, 4 options. We just want to give them some options and let them discuss it with their husband or wife, or maybe it's an elderly. She's an older lady. She needs to talk to her son. He's in a different state. So I've had the technicians many of times. We get on FaceTime and we'll FaceTime her son or her neighbor, whoever, and we'll show them the problem and we'll go over the options and we sit there and go through them together, because the last thing we want to do is go to a house, present some options, we leave, and an hour later, the customer's like, I don't know what I paid for. I don't know what just happened. Kind of wasn't really in the clear. So technology can be our best friend.
So we all use the word air conditioning, especially in Florida, or HVAC. What is that? What does that even really mean?
So it can mean several things. Thermostat. We all know there's a thermostat somewhere inside the house. That's the brain. That's the controller. That's what tells the system to come on or off and how long to run for to regulate the temperature. In the attic or in your garage or in your closet, you'll have an indoor unit and it's called an air handler. Up north, it may be called a furnace, and you may have gas, and it's a big heating market. Down here, we're generally 90% cooling, so you'll have an air handler. That consists of a blower motor, evaporator coil, a drain line, and then outside of the home, you'll have a condensing unit. That's where the compressor sits. It's also a condenser coil. That's where the capacitor. Everybody has capacitor failures in the summertime. That's where your capacitor sits and your contactor sits. And then so between the 2 units connecting them would be 2 copper lines and a low voltage wire. And sometimes they need to be replaced for 2 reasons. One, they're undersized to today's standards. The old refrigerant may have been one size, but the new refrigerant requires you to upsize it, or they may go under the slab of the house. The slab settles, the house gets old, the pipe could crack, the pipe could move, and then you'd have a leak. So there is also times where they replace that. It's called a copper line set. We would replace it and go up the side of the house, through the attic, and then down.
When it comes to the other side of the house, plumbing, what all do you guys do on that side?
So plumbing, we do your basic, just your faucets in your bathroom or your kitchen. We'll do water heaters, filtration, toilets, anything in that aspect. It could be as basic as the handle on your toilet, could be your water heater, could be filtration. Anything inside a home that has to do with plumbing, we do. Whether it be a block in the toilet, in the kitchen sink, whether it be a garbage disposal, anything to do with plumbing inside the home, we have. Our trucks are stocked. We don't have to go and order and come back. We have them on site.
And if it is a more serious blockage, especially for the toilets, what does that look like?
If it's a serious blockage, we would also work with the pipe surgeons to help us out and assist us with that. They're more of a specialty company, but the everyday things that we see, Miranda can take care of.
Matt, thanks for coming. I learned a lot today. I appreciate you coming out, telling us what's going on. What's the best way to reach you guys?
Best way to reach us would probably be the website, mirandahomeservices.com. On there, you can have links to Instagram, Facebook. There's also a live chat. But on there, you can find all of our contact information.
Perfect. And I'll make sure we include a lot of that in this video.
Thank you.